Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's been a while since you says, but I have accounts in the crypt. Oh wait, it's an MP5, never mind. But I want to make a build video. I've been trying for a while now, and my editor is being strange, so this might all be in one recording. But this is my build, and it's Guardian Takedown ready. Can go for Guardian Takedown with pretty much no issues. It is able to do everything in the game. I've tested it, I've done a boss wash, and it's pretty similar to my previous build, which last time I made this build, I did a boss wash. I can kill like herbivores and vermi as well. I can also kill the seer. Now, for this video, I'm going to show it with Guardian rank. You might be asking why do I have 64 tokens. There might be a glitch in this game, and I'm trying to avoid it. I don't know if it will or not, but basically the glitch just reset everything. Like I have to work on my bulk card again and stuff like that. But first of all, let's go over his skill trees, I guess. So if you're playing through the game normally, I say, like if you're gonna play a new FL4K and want to just start making builds as you go, I say start going down green first, then go orange, and then a little bit of blue. But first of all, 5 points in furious attack. Like all you have to do is read the description. It's super easy to understand why I would take fame, why I would take a furious attack. You know, hunter skill. After shooting an enemy, FL4K gains a stack of furious attack. So he gets 2% gun damage for each stack, up to 20%. Why would I not? You know, handling, pet damage, all that stuff is brilliant. Did I say go eager to impress? Kills come when FL4K's enemy actually cooldown time is reduced. It's a fadeaway build with a little bit of gamma burst. I'll explain why in a bit. Before this build, I'm going to be showing Guardian Takedown, just to prove that I can go through it. But pretty much, you know, you want to get into fadeaway. You could go for overclocked if you want to, but I don't think fire rate's an issue on FL4K. And with shields like the super soldier at now, I don't think you really need to go into overclock, so I say go into eager to impress. And let's face it, no one uses all my BFFs. It's a skill that really should be buffed, or it's a skill that should just change in general. Like, look at it. 70% of FL4K's health is shared with his pet and allies. The only people that are gonna actually like that skill are other FL4Ks. And this is Borderlands 3. Every character has a way to get lifesteal. Moses the Sapper, Zane has his lifesteal skill, and Amara can just do elemental damage to heal lifesteal, so they don't need health regen. Like, Rose could use all my BFFs, but it's a useless skill in my opinion. But the next skill is 1 point intellect wings. The pet revives you, what more can I say? You know? It's a way to stay alive, and unfortunately in this game, the pet I'm using, the Skag, is a bit bugged. There are tons of enemies that can't even hit it, so 90% of the time when you go down, your pet's going to be able to revive you. There are some areas where it will die, but it's not going to be much. Next up is Turn Tailor 1. While moving, you regenerate health for damage reduction. That's awful. But it's the second one. While you're still, you can get damage fire rate. 25% for gun damage. I guess a quarter of your damage being added just for standing still. You're not going to be standing still all the time, but there are certain bosses and enemies in the game that if you stay still or use a sniper, you're going to kill them. You know, and then I have 1 point in the self-repair system to get down to the next row. You can put that anywhere you want in green now. Like you can even put it in overclocked if you want to. And the reason I didn't talk about Sikkim, well, it's Sikkim. The attack command is awful in this game. But next up, I've got 5 points in the hidden machine. Because when enemies attacking the pet or something like that, which the enemies attacking the pet or you're in fadeaway all the time, you know, you get 30% gun damage. Why not? Next up, I don't go for Rage and Cover. Kill an enemy gives you 1.6 health regen if you're missing health. Again, lifesteals in this game, it's useless. Like, literally take that and all my BFFs and just give them something else. But I've got 3 points in the Fast and Furious because in this game, you're pretty much going to be over 50% health all the time. It doesn't matter which character you are, you'll always have a ton of health. And I have 2 points in the self-repair system, which can also be put into anything else you want. I just put it there because I want to get the power inside because it's a Pokemon reference. That and when you activate your action skill, 25% damage. So Basically, you can start a fight with 50% extra damage, at the very least, which is great. But next up, in the Hunter tree, we've got Interplanetary Stalker, self-explanatory, because when you kill an enemy, you gain a stack. And for each stack, you gain more damage and stuff like that. Like, you just gain more in general. It's brilliant. I've then got 5 in Hunter's Eye. I have 8 because of my class mod, which I'll explain in a bit. My class mod is a Bounty Hunter though. Because Bounty Hunter is Blacksmith's class mod. It has been since day 1 and it always will be. But Hunter's Eye, obviously critical damage against humans, armor damage against robots, damage reduction against beasts. Because of the Bounty Hunter, when you find a boss, you get all those bonuses. So pretty much anything with an armor bar and there's a boss is going to die, and a regular boss is going to die just as quick. But next, 3 in head count, action skill cooldown, simple as that. 2 to leave no trace, because brilliant. I used to run Ambush Predator. This is different from my last build, but the game's a bit finicky about when enemies are near you and not. Most of the time you'll be far away from an enemy, like on the other side of the world, and it will still count as being near you. It's a bit weird. And you could go for second intention, but I don't think you need it. And I don't really like Two Fine. It's alright, but I didn't like it in Borderlands 2, and sure, an extra projectile's fine, but there's a shield in this game that gives you an extra projectile. If you're that desperate for it, just use the shield. But I got 3 in the most dangerous game. Obviously, when you kill a boss, a strong enemy, gain critical hit damage, gun damage, and handling. And Power receives extra damage, which is great. Next up, big game. Well, I needed 2 points to get down to the next row. But more hunter skills, duration, and stuff like that is good. Galactic Shadow, because increased critical hit damage and enemies less likely to attack you. So why not? You get more damage. And then I have 4 in the Grim Harvest, which, could get action skill damage and stuff like that. Put 4 in there to get Megavore. You don't have to use Megavore, but it's in such a convenient spot that it's better. That to me, I just use it. But now we got the Master Tree, and you may think, wait, this is a pet tree, why are you using that? I'll explain once I go through the tree. First of all, good damage, action skill duration. Why wouldn't I? Then, I have 1 point in ferocity. I need to put a point somewhere else to get down to here, but ferocity, 20% pet damage, and the pet's honestly quite decent now. Unless you use the jabber. If you use the jabber, then you're kinda done for. And go for the eyes. Automatic crit for the pet. More damage for the pet, so we can kill something for you. 5 in the frenzy. More damage. Like 40% damage in general, which is great. Then I have 1 into Second Hand on the Stick. When you kill an enemy, your pet gains movement speed and damage. Not really necessary, but there's not many other skills I'd like. Sure, you could get health regen, but I still think health regen is stupid, and when Flak takes damage, a portion of all damage you take given to the health, and the pet gains bonus damage. You could put a point in that, that's a pretty good skill, but I have 1 there. I then have 3 into Heat Bites, because, your pet does damage to enemies by being hit. But this gag is a bit strange, but it helps. And then 1 point in the velocity, which can go anywhere. Then I have 3 into Barbaric Yop. More pet bonuses. Like, look at that. It gives your pet more damage. As for the pet, I use the Skag. The Spider-Man I know is more elemental damage, but I prefer the damage in general. It boosts everything, so I can use non-elementals. Whereas with the Spider-Man, I have to use, elemental guns. And there's some that I don't have. And no one uses Jabber. Like, sure, you get movement speed and critical damage, but look, 5% critical damage. For the last version of the Jabber, meanwhile, boom. Second version of the Skag is immediately 33%, so obviously I'm going to use the Skag. You can use it with pet you want. I used to run a Jabber all the time, but I think the Jabber needs a buff. That's like the only thing on Flak I think that actually needs a general buff. But we're going to gear next. First of all, the weapons. I have a version of King and Queen's calls. I recommend just getting general noise. I have elemental crit on Cryo, because, you know, why not? I only just obtained this one yesterday. You then got the King's Call in fire, you know, and corrosion, because obviously you need fire corrosion. I have shock as well in case you need it. Got radiation to do some good damage. And I've also got a Maggie here. You can use Maggie as much as you want. I rarely use it, but I still have it. Next up, all versions of the Rowan's Call. This thing was an amazing weapon since day one, and it is still an amazing weapon. It is brilliant. I've also got a Becca, because the Becca is such a rare weapon that you're best to use it. Also got a Gallant Darcy Clairvoyance. It's actually meant to be another Clairvoyance I'm supposed to get from my room. Let me go take a look at that. Clairvoyance Masher. Yeah, Clairvoyance Masher as well, just in case you need it. Because it is more damage than the Gatling one. So if you can pull the trigger fast, then you're good. No, I don't have enough. I don't have another assault rifle. Huh. But in terms of shotguns, I have a Hellwalker and a Sledge's shotgun. The Sledge's shotgun is rarely used. It's pretty much if I feel like using a shotgun against a boss that's resistant to fire. So, kind of whatever on that. For snipers, I have Rain Invitation. People have been sleeping on this gun for so long. Ever since it was released, it was the best sniper in the game, and it still is the best sniper in the game. It is brilliant. Both fire and cryo damage. I actually recommend getting the Elemental Crystal Anointment on it. I used to have that, but I don't have it anymore. I'll probably change that anointment. Because the Elemental Crystal, you can take out certain bosses like the Big Krieg. Oh, like Psycho Weaver. So Psycho Weaver can die just like that. That's probably why I have 100% action skill active. Because the King of Queen's Calls decimate the Psycho Weaver in the second phase. But a Skullmasher. Skullmasher is still good. It always has been good, and it will remain good. It will probably get nerfed though, because they buffed all the snipers to figure out which ones they want to nerf, so I say be careful of what sniper you use, because they will nerf them. A Disruptor. Need I say more? You go through shields. You just straight up ignore shields, and it's brilliant for that. And it's just great for that. For an SMG, you may see I have an AMP5. The reason is because of the Super Soldier. Like, look at that. Just a little bit of movement speed, which helps out in long run, you know, just to get from point A to point B, because Flak is probably the slowest character in the game. And you could say I could use a Snowdrift, and I could, but I just prefer to be able to run from point A to point B instead of sliding from point A to 1B. Or point A to point B. But as for shields, we have a Super Soldier. Movement speed, ammo regen. What else can I say about it? It's a Super Soldier. It's brilliant. I'm surprised you even put it in the game. It's that good. You bandage a Torak because, you know, activate action skill and get 170% weapon damage. It's just good. And it's also a good way to not choose the Infernal Wish. The Infernal Wish is a brilliant shield. I love it. But it can down you a lot when you're fighting bosses. So you need to be careful about that. You may be saying right now, wait a second, he doesn't have a Revolter. Warning, this video has an opinion. I hate the Revolter and I think it's the worst shield in the game. Why? You go to a Storm Heavy, go to a Stormfront Heavy and use a Revolter on him. Wow, he's immune. 250% damage won't matter if an enemy is immune to it. You end up looking stupid in that scenario. Meanwhile, I'm here being able to just do general damage. But for grenades, my other Hunter Seekers with on grenade throw, all elements. You don't really need all elements. I would say probably just get cryo if you really need it, but it's to build up Bounty Hunter stacks. Speaking of which, Bounty Hunter. 3% chance to activate any purchase hunt kill skill when dealing gun damage. It was the Seeing Dead before the Seeing Dead was introduced. And here's another thing, people were sleeping on this for so long. Now people are actually paying attention to it. I've been using this thing since day one. And obviously, yeah, it's also V2, so not since day one, but I've been playing the game since it released. And my favorite class mod has been the Bounty Hunter because it's brilliant. That's why I never use a stack bot, because people over relied on it, and the Bounty Hunter was infinitely better. And this is why I use the blue tree, the red fang. I'll demonstrate it in Guardian Takedown, but basically use Gamma Burst and you get a free crystal. It is so convenient to just be able to have a crystal done just like that. Now you may be looking at my artifact and be like, what is that? I've never seen that artifact before. Well, it's known as something called a Company Man. A Jacob's Company Man specifically. 30% damage, 50 crit damage, you can, and 40 mag size. You can get 50 on all those. And I did, but for some reason the game decided to corrupt my save and I ended up losing it from the save. That's why I'm not using Guardian ranks anymore, because I think that's what happens. I think if you go too far into Guardian rank, your save file gets corrupted. But yeah, 12% movement speed and 39 cryo resistance is brilliant for that. But I recommend getting the Company Man over the Pearl, because you have to keep hitting the enemy over and over again. And to me, it's just, like, that's pretty boring in my opinion. But that's it for the build. I'm gonna do a different recording session going through Guardian, and hopefully I'll be able to edit this all together. Basically, I'll be speeding up the Marby sections and showing you what it's like fighting the bosses, because the Marby sections, you know, they're kind of whatever. But that's the build at the moment. I'll see you guys once I start going through Guardian, hopefully. And as you can see, I went through that first part of Guardian Takedown. I'm going to speed it up obviously, but I'm now going to show what this build can do during the crystals phases, because that's where I struggle the most as Flak. But basically, I'm equipping Gamma Burst, and I had the Red Fan now. Also got to kill Avoidance equipped, because keeping enemies stunned will be great. But I just want to show how this does during the crystals phases. Basically, these are the crystals that I struggle with more, but essentially send out the pet with Gamma Burst and the Red Fang. And if you don't shoot, 90% of the time the Guardians will just not go for you. The crystals are where I struggle the most as Flak, because there's so many enemies and it's capture the flag, only worse, because enemies infinitely spawn. Basically, that's all that the red fan is for. The red fan is there to get the crystals done. Now my plan here is to go for the side crystals first. Because if you go for the side crystal in the middle one, chances are enemies are going to spawn like at that size, then you're getting pincer attacked at both ends. Just making it so you can't do the center crystal easily. But as long as you get 2 crystals done, you'll be grand. Oi, off the crystal. Off the crystal. This is a bit of a problem though. Sometimes the pet just decides it's going to stand in the crystal with you. So sometimes you may not be able to get the crystals done because of the pet's AI. The pet's AI is a bit bad. When I say a bit bad, it's awful. That's why the best thing to do is to send a pet right over there and use your attack command accordingly. Because now they should be getting out of the crystal. Nope, my pet's going to run in here and mess with all the progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the center crystal now. It's just that I don't lose any more charge. Chances are they'll all just go for the pet up there. Think Albus could recharge and hopefully I can get this one done easily. But those enemies are making their way straight for me. Oh wait, no, they're going for the last crystal. Never mind. That's helpful. Basically, as long as you get 2 crystals done, you should be fine. Oh, come on, charge already. Get out of the crystal. Okay, they don't want to get out of the crystal. So you're just going to have to do some hands-on work here. What are you doing, pet? Yeah, the pet's AI is stupid in this game, and I wish it would be buffed instead of the pet's damage. Off of the crystal. Out of the crystal. I'm seriously going to fail the crystals here because of the pet's stupid AI. Pick a side, for crying out loud, pet. Yeah, the pet sometimes just wants to stay next to you and is pretty much a little saboteur. And it doesn't help with the guardians because of that. Stay over there and fight them. And this guy wants to teleport right next to me, so he's just gonna have to die. Why is my pet doing this? Part of me is thinking they actually changed the pet's AI now just to make crystals more difficult. Pick an enemy. Go over there and fight him. I'm trying to get the crystal charged, and the pet isn't doing anything other than just constantly playing back and forth. They're playing pig in the middle of it. Off of the crystal. And you go over there, let me charge the crystal. Out. Ah. Get out. Go away, Guardian. There we go, 2nd crystal charged. That took way longer than it usually does. Because the pet is just really annoying. Now I was going to say I would skip the next crystals, but I'm just going to jump cut to the boss. Hopefully. Knowing my video editor, probably will just decide to have a brain fart and not be able to add the video files other than the actual build itself. As long as you get 2 crystals charged, you'll be fine. If there's any tips I have for guiding takedown, play with a friend. It's designed to be done multiplayer. And it's a lot more fun with people, but I'm just trying to show that I can do this solo. To prove this build can actually do stuff. Because most build videos I see, they just show the same things. They show the same 3 easy to kill bosses, and to me that does no justice as Flak. Because yeah, anyone can kill Twant as Flak. Now you could ask, how do you do against the raid boss version of Flak? Or raid boss version of Twant? I can kill him. The fight just takes a while. You see, a raid boss in this game isn't exactly a raid boss. The reason being that as long as you have life still in this game, you're not going to die to a boss. And every character in this game has an option of lifesteal. Flak's the only one that doesn't have an outside source, it's like a class mod or a skill. Whereas Amal's elemental damage, Zane is gun damage, and Mo's is Feint, her Sapper class mod, so basically the same thing, gun damage. Flak doesn't have a class mod that does anything like that. He has lifesteal, but that's actually for his pet. Which kinda makes sense. Flak does have options for lifesteal though. The King and Queen's Call, for example, the Quit, the Hail. There's so many weapons in this game that give you lifesteal anyways that Flak doesn't have to worry. Flak's just the only character you can't just constantly shoot a boss and never think I'm gonna go down. Because Flak can die during a boss fight. But he has a good self-revive. But that's just sort of how it works. Also, I just realized I should have sped up this bit. Screw it. I was gonna end the recording now and try and do another recording. And just speed up the path from here, but it's not that far from the boss, so I think I'll be fine. Yeah, am I gonna show the final boss? Yeah. Like, I'm probably gonna do jump cuts after the first boss. To like the crystals and that, because I already got to the crystals and you guys saw how I did with that. And I'm not gonna quit the game just to add another person. That'd be a waste of time. And it wouldn't prove anything. But yeah, the raid boss version of Twant, I can kill him. I killed him once already as this Flak. I'm just not gonna kill him again because the fight just takes a while. Apparently the Feint is bugged. I don't think it's bugged though. I think that's just people complain because they probably died to Feint anyways. I still had the red Feint code for that. It says the damage without the bounty hunter. That's probably why the crystals took so long, because they didn't have all my damage. But obviously the pet is supposed to be a distraction. You should go over there. Basically, I don't want to get knocked down there. I could kill the enemies down there, but getting takedown will just take a little bit longer. So obviously I'm going to try to, you know, get through here as quick as possible and show the boss. Now, I could just kill the first boss just to show you guys, because the second boss doesn't drop anything, let's be honest. But I'm going to show the second boss anyways, because it's like I'll show the damage to it and probably the end of the fight if I have to be honest. Why will I only show those? Well, let's face it, you guys don't want to see me in a fight where I get teleported. Like, the guy and takedown bosses aren't well designed. Like, they really aren't. They're designed horribly. Like, they're probably some of the worst designed bosses in this game. They show everything that's wrong with the bosses in this game. Oh, I had Gamma Burst equipped. Whoops. That was meant to be fade away. I'm playing a bit sloppily during this, but you can see my damage is fine. Gamma Burst will end soon anyways. If you hit it with the King and Queen's Call, you know I'm doing good damage. So much so that I'm actually drawing his aggro, that's funny. And you could say during this fight, there is a guiding skill that will add overkill damage. Because I know someone's going to comment it. But this is Guardian Takedown. It's designed for Fane. I will show a boss fight without Guardian rank, but the game is kind of designed around it, to be completely honest. But that's just how the game is, you know? There you go. Get fadeaway equipped again, and you guys will see how fast this guy's armor drops. Ooh, I nearly died to that. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really mean much. That could have been a Guardian skill. In fact, you know what I'll do? What skill is it? Probably in here. There you go. I'll disable overkill, just to show my damage without it. That way it'll just prove what the damage is. Completely forgot I could actually disable Guardian skills at that point, but this will show what happens. Yeah, that's the damage without overkill. As you can see, it's only a slight bit slower. I could disable Guardian rank in general, but this fight would just take longer. King and Queen's Call give you lifesteal, so let's face it, as long as you have lifesteal, you're probably fine. Plus, I have a pet that revives me. And Guardians of one of those enemies are actually struggling against the Skag pet. The main reason I have it is because of damage. If they made it so it was easier to hit for enemies, sure, I'd be fine with that. Because realistically, you know, it's just basically an extra reason to pick the Skag. Also, you guys could have seen I went through an entire room there by doing a glitch earlier. That room is terrible. It's not even difficult, it's just a boring room to go through, that's why I skipped it. Plus everyone uses that skip, so don't judge me for it. Judge the people who taught me that skip, which are YouTubers. And yes, I know I'm making a YouTube video about it, but I'm a flag that actually has some common sense. Like, I'm the one that actually knew how good the bounty hunter was. Like, people just didn't realize, because you realize, oh, stack boss, just a pearl. And people over-relied on it because of it. Borderlands is all about the types of gear that you can use. You don't have to use a pearl. You can use whatever you want. Yes, the pearl is in the meta. But the pearl isn't like a do or die situation. And if you need all that stack damage, it means you're not doing anything to begin with. And if you constantly need the extra 150% I think you get, then it means your build doesn't do any damage. Like, you guys can see how I'm doing without a Fane, without a pearl. Like, would Anathema die quicker? Probably. I'm also just using, you know, whatever I want. That's how Borderlands works. It's how it's always worked. Now, I could use a Shock King's Call here, but I want to show what the Woman's Call is good for. Just going to get my health back with the Queen's Call. Yeah, that's what the Woman's Call can do. Obviously not as good as a Shock King's Call would have been, but it just shows what you can do. 3, 4, 5. Just kind of in my head there, because the second the bubble turns yellow, you just count 5. And then there you go, that's when you go back. Yeah, as you can see, the Woman's Call, that was even with overkill. You guys see now, he turned it off. The Woman's Call has a bit of an overkill feature in it. Basically, if you kill an enemy with the ricochet, it does do a ton of splash damage, like more than the OPQ system, I believe. But people don't talk about it because it's not the meta. But Woman's Call has always been good. It gained a buff just to put a big smile on my face when it got buffed. Like a long time ago it got buffed and I was so happy about it. I was like, yes, I get a reason to use it. Only complaint about the Woman's Call is that it doesn't come in cryo or corrosion, but that's fine. I do think we need a corrosion Jacob's assault rifle. Oh, my pet's down. Don't worry, my pet will be back soon. Just clear the Anathema real quick, and I'll use Gamma Burst to revive it once fadeaway ends. Open up the Echo menu game. There we go. Yeah, that's another reason to use Gamma Burst. It's not my favorite skill, but it's useful. There's an Sepalius, Black Hole. Oh, Corrosive Lightspeed. I didn't even know it could come in Corrosive. I know someone was actually gonna love that then. And we equip. Oh, can we equip Fade Away just yet? But that's how the build does against the first boss of Guardian Takedowns, so now I will end the recording and speed up this next bit. Basically I'm going to skip ahead and I'll charge the crystals and now one recording as well, so I'll see you guys once I get to the final boss. And as you can see, I went through that section with not many issues at all. So now I'm just going to shoot a boss fight. Now you may notice I've been using the Super Soldier throughout the entire Guardian Takedown. I might have used Bandits of Torak at some point. I don't know. But that just shows how powerful the build is with and without, you know, extra damage. So I hope you guys sort of get an appreciation for this build. I'm still going to shoot a boss, don't worry. I'm going to end the video here. I got to the end of Guardian Takedown, might as well go all the way through it. I maybe figured this video might be a bit long. And I say kinda, yeah. But I'd rather show the build in all of its glory. It's if you know just jump kinda every good attempt of a boss fight. But as you can see, not much of a problem against Scourge either. The only tricky bit is when you get Feint. Is when you get teleport. That's like the only bit I'm worried about. Now what I'm doing is I'm having my pet go all the way to Scourge. That way this guy will blow up right next to it. There's one tip I recommend for this fight, is that you can use both Fade Away and Gamma Burst for it. Oh, and just to prove, I still don't have Overkill active. Like maybe there's another skill? I killed him with a critical hit causing an explosion, so never mind. I said earlier it was the bonus call, it's actually a hollow point. It could be a hollow point just doing that. So I'm going to disable that as well. And what's this? Nah. So I'm just going to disable those. Just to prove. You could say it's to flex, but at the same time I feel like I have the right to. As you can see, the damage is completely fine. I'm going to re-equip Fade Away now because I'm going to need it for the next part of it. As you can see, even without Hollow Point, you know, I'm still doing major damage. I think these bits are the only ones that I can struggle with in the final part of the boss fight. Because the boss may end up getting all this armor back, but to me that's not even an issue. You guys saw how fast I took out his armor. Now, I'm going to say right now that awesome strange interactions with Flak that are possible. Because, you know, it's just something to talk about. Every character in Borderlands has a strange interaction. Flak can have what I like to call a god crit. I don't have any versions, but I pulled it off once. if you're fighting Hemophorus and she has a ton of enemies around it, like if she uses that attack to shoot out a bunch of little rockets everywhere, like straight towards you, it's like a bunch of little landmines basically. If you land a shot just right, you can hit all of them with a rain invitation, and it causes a chain reaction, taking out a ton of Hemophorus' armor or health, potentially one-shotting her. I performed it once, and I took out like more than half her armor with a rain invitation, and she uses it to fire. I don't know if it's a thing that can happen anymore, but it is possible. It could be hollow point though. But I performed this flak, so that's why I gave it the name the God Crit. Now, are there any other tips that I have for flak? The main one is use this build as a basis. Don't just copy it and be like, oh, this build's terrible because I'm not good with it. Use this build to learn as a flak main. I see a bunch of people saying this build's amazing, and tons of people have problems with it because they're trying to copy someone's playstyle. You don't need to copy everything, movement for movement. Like I said, there are optional stuff in this build. You don't need self-repair system. You could go for the extra fire rate. You could go for the attack command cooldown if you really want to. Do I recommend it? No, but everyone's build is going to be different. That's what's good about RPGs. Like every build is supposed to be different. I guess just how video games work. Now, I'm basically saying don't copy my build point A to point B. Kinda. I would say try it a bit if you're really struggling with Flak and Guardian Takedown, because you guys can see now I'm going for Guardian Takedown with little issues. I've been down a couple times, but when I've been down I haven't been worried about dying. There are points where I will panic, and that's when my pet's like 20 yards away or something. Well, I say yards, I'm not American. But your pet could be very far away. So kind of keep your pet close to you, but not too close. Reason being is that obviously the pet can't help with the crystals. I'm going to say right now, with the crystals there, you can see I had a bit of trouble with the first one. The second crystals are actually incredibly easy with this build. They're a lot easier because, you know, you don't have enemies coming from all sides. You know, they're all on this segmented platform. So your experience is going to be a bit different. The first crystal is the only part that can give me trouble, and that depends on the pet's AI. So it is a bit luck based. And this is an Irish guy saying it, but I have horrible luck. But that's just how it is, you know. Other things could be like, obviously I'm wearing a Jacob's build. The reason being, I loved using Jacob since day one. Always will. I think I'll just do that. I wasn't gonna re-equip Gamma Burst just to take out the crystals. I'm just gonna shoot the guys that explode next to him. But now it's time for the next segment. Give me a good spawn. Okay. One thing I do recommend is get this area if you can. I don't know how. It's just random, I guess, but this is a good area. I guess my favorite area to get teleport as is Flak. Because there's not many places you can die. Every character in this game does struggle from one common weakness, and that's fall damage. Primarily Zane struggled with it, but every character can be worried about dying to fall damage. But it's also just a big open area that I can use to my advantage. The other areas are like smaller, and some of them have more enemies to spawn. This area isn't even that bad. It's just a good area in general. Now, I might show a boss kill, I don't know. You see, the reason I'm using Guardian Takedown here is because you see all those spells and they always kill the easiest bosses to kill. Like, it's always Greywood, it's always Twant, it's always this. I will show one boss, but you guys can see right now that, you know, I'm not having trouble in Guardian Takedown at all. And I think Guardian Takedown is a way to actually show your build. If your build is good, I say use Guardian Takedown. Or Malawan Takedown, you know, use something that could be considered difficult. Because let's face it, you guys could take no skill points and probably kill Twant with ease. Oh, yeah, you could kill Twant and Gravewood with ease, with no skill points. That's why I'm making this build video, because you see a ton of build videos of people just killing the easiest things in the game. Of course you're going to be able to kill those things, any build can. The question is just how fast can you kill them? But that's just sort of, you know, general tips for the video. I could end the clip here, because you guys saw the damage I'm doing. I'm going to kill Fane, I'm going to kill Scourge, it's pretty obvious. But I just want to make sure that you guys actually see it, and I'm also going to show right here, this has all been in one sitting. So, we've got the hotfixes and Borderlands science. Now, this is showing September 9th, it is currently October 30th. It's just not showing the latest hotfixes because, I don't know, Gearbox News is weird. But that's to prove as well, just 1 point. Like, if I was using mods, it would show in the bottom left I was using mods. But it doesn't, and this has all been in one sitting, just to prove. Because a lot of people that show mods in their video, well, they make a video and they have a mod thing in the bottom left, and they don't say that they're using the mod, and they don't say what one specifically. There's one person who's probably a bit spiteful of me for like commenting on the video, but at the same time, I just wanted to make sure. That way no one's confused and be like, wait, why is he doing so much damage? It's literally the build. You could say Guardian rank as well, and I'm not going to argue that I have 50% gun damage. But at least I've shown I'm using Guardian rank. There are people who won't even show Guardian rank in their build, so they can have like 30. As you can see, it's not even a problem until I equipped a Shock King's Call just to make the fight a bit quicker. I don't need to, the Woman's Call does work for me. That's why I love this assault rifle. Like again, it getting buffed, honestly, it just made people, it just made me really happy. Because it was just a fun weapon to use. Now on any builds, Borderlands specific that I would make, kinda. I want the Becca to have a farm. Because yeah, I'm not using the Becca at the moment, but the Becca's decent. But let's face it, when are you ever going to farm a Becca for a build? Yeah, as you can see, my pet actually just did all that damage. It didn't even shoot. I just went and fade away. But Scourge is dead. Let's see what horrible loot he drops. Probably a web sling if I had to guess. But secondly, if I didn't get any legendaries, that would have been a kick in the face. Hey, web slinger in fire. Kinda cool. A weed charger, overburner, a stormfront. That's kind of a, yeah, pretty bad stuff. But I'm gonna find a boss to kill. I'll show him in like during this as well, just to prove that I'm not using any like overkill skills and stuff like that. I actually want to use the masher. And what I'm going to do is equip the balance of Thorax for this boss fight. Just to show what it's like. Equip a Fire Hunter Seeker. And you see the thing that I don't know which boss to fight. I could fight Fane. I could fight him before and that, but the fight just takes a while. So I want to show a boss fight that won't take too long. So what I'm going to do is go to Valhalla and kill Psycho Reaver. And I'll be right back. Just to take a phone call there. But now I'm just going to show Fane. I'm going to show a Psycho Reaver fight. Psycho Reaver isn't too difficult to kill, but it's a boss of a lot of health. Just to show how much health drain there actually is during this fight. But basically second phase he's going to die. First phase, you know, he's not tricky, but he takes more damage during the first phase. I don't know why I'm going for the extra loot room. There's no legendaries I want to get at the moment. So I'm just going to start the fight and just shoot Fane. Just shoot Psycho Weaver until he dies. I could use a Hellwalker during this fight, and I'm not showcasing all the gear, but I don't think I need to show all the gear. Shit, Psycho Weaver's not a difficult boss, it's just he's a massive health sponge. Sort of like Guardians, I guess. Probably start shooting fire now. Yep. As you can see, Psycho Weaver's health is just pretty much gone. Now, am I going to show over characters' builds? Kinda? The only character I've really struggled with in Guardian Takedown is Mose. I have a build that can do it, but the second crystal's a difficult path for her. Now, the reason I'm getting so close to Psycho Weaver here is that if you get up to him with a King Queen's Call, you can see all that damage trying to stack up. As you can see, he's actually a lot easier to kill during the second phase. Now, if Krieg does the attack where he stuns him for a little bit, he does die super quick during that bit. As you can see, it's not exactly a difficult fight, and I've shown I can go through Guardian Takedown. You could say I didn't show Malawan Takedown, but Malawan Takedown just goes quicker. Hence why I chose Guardian. You've all got leveled up. Back on a long grind for level 50 something. Huh, 2 million average. That's handy. But that's the flak build, and hopefully this will all be combined together. A room decoration. And a Palm Chronicle. But hopefully you guys enjoy this build. And I might make other character builds, but I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next video though. So fare thee well.